Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mental Wealth. It's been a minute, mimi kwanza nilikuwa nimepotea, but I am happy to be back. I am glad that we are doing this again. I know last time you guys rided solo with Derek, but I am definitely happy to be here. Today we are going to discuss something very interesting, but before we start, I'm going to give Derek a chance to just say hi.
Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel.
Umesahau this is a podcast, Derek.
I know it's a podcast. I mean, so many people have been like, guys, you guys need to start a YouTube channel, a podcast with a YouTube channel. So
okay.
Maybe you never know, it's probably a manifestation in a way, indirectly. Where's it, Jua?
YouTube is pressure. Now you want me to dress up as I'm coming.
Mimi nitavaa tu zile nguo zangu moja tu. If you think to record zote in one day, it's up to you. The most important thing is content. I mean, if we are bringing you legit content. Every other thing comes secondary. Anyway, I'm excited to be part of this conversation. Always happy to be part of Mental Wealth podcast with my amazing co-host, Lillian herself. It's been a minute.
It has.
Squeezy, a minute in 2 years.
2 years. It's been a hot minute. We have been away for a while, but we are happy to be back. We out here to discuss something called attachment styles. You might have heard it, or maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, but maybe you've had it around because it's something that has really come up a lot these days, especially on the socials. Everyone is talking about attachment styles. So that's what we're doing, Derek. And Derek.
Yeah.
Do you want us to start? What do you think? What do you think about attachment styles?
Hey.
Where do we start?
We start from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yes.
Bininge.
From the beginning. Yeah, we need to discuss and find out. I mean, where maybe Lian can help us understand why the term attachment styles, and what is it? What is it all about?
Okay, attachment styles is essentially how people attach themselves to. I can't define the word using the word. How people connect with each other. So the dynamics around how people, because all of us connect to people differently. Yeah. So that's where the attachment theory comes from. Yeah, and then the attachment styles, of course, come from the attachment theory. So it's basically how people connect to each other. Yeah.
So basically, it's how I connect with you, how I connect with my family, I connect with my friends, or this attachment style is basically about intimacy and relationship.
Majorly, it's usually because majorly it's people look at it, especially in romantic relationships, but also it plays out in relationships. It's other relationships like family relationships, friendships, because your attachment styles to begin with they're not formed necessarily by a romantic relationship. It can inform that. The romantic relationships you've been in can inform your attachment styles, but it comes from a family setting with your caregivers or parents or whoever took care of you and how they connected to you and responded to your emotional needs. Okay. So that's where it comes from. So it can be with anybody, but I think emphasis are made on romantic relationships because I guess you spend more time with your romantic partner than you would with your friend. So I think that's why there is emphasis on the romance, the romantic. But it also, the way you relate with your romantic partner, like for example, how you attach to them is maybe how you will still attach to your friend. You're still the same person with the same deficiency or security. Yeah.
Thank you so much. At least you've helped me. Some of us have not been in a relationship for a while, so
you think you don't have an attachment style?
Yeah, and then you're gonna feel like if I do this exercise, maybe I'll not get the right answer because I'm feeling it from a point of this is something I've not been part of for a while. So maybe inaweza kuwa I might be answering because I want to assume I am this way, but when I find myself in an intimate relationship, I'll probably behave differently. Anyway, that is a conversation for another day. We get deeper into.
So, they are 3, but 4 attachment styles. There are 3 but 4 attachment styles. The first one is secure. I think we will get into the descriptions badai. The first one is secure, and then after secure we have avoidant. And this avoidant can be broken into 2. That's why we're saying there are 3 but 4. This avoidant can be broken into two types.
Yeah.
There's the dismissive avoidant, and then there's the fearful the avoidant, also known as the disorganized attachment styles.
Yeah.
The reason why they're called disorganized, because there's a lot of these people face a lot of confusion. It's a mixture of anxious and avoidant. So you can imagine how that looks like.
Yeah.
And then after those two, then we have now the anxious one, also known as the anxious preoccupied. So basically just the anxious attachment styles.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 attachment styles that are there. And most of the people fall in those. And Secure actually has the least number of people. So
the list.
Yeah, Secure actually.
Why? Kwani watu ni kina nani bana?
People, most of us are messed up. Secure ni wachache sana. Secure and one of the avoidance. I don't know if it's the fearful one or the disorganized. Majority of people are actually anxious. Yeah.
It has to be the fearful. Because fearful in some way shares, not fearful, sorry, avoidant.
The dismissive
avoidant.
Yeah.
Dismissive avoidant. They share a number of traits with the secure.
Yeah, so those are the 4 attachment styles, Derek. Have you ever done the test? Do you know where you fall?
I did the test a couple of months ago, and then I repeated doing it. Soul searching, trying to know, hey, hapa niko wapi, and then so some time back I used to be anxious, preoccupied. I think over time there has been so many developmental changes in my operations and how I relate with people. So I feel like right now I'm at the dismissive avoidant 45%. Secure 45%. I lie there. I'm not completely in one angle. I'm in the projection of moving to the next step. So
nice, and I like what you have talked about, because even we need to give a disclaimer. Even as we talk about these attachment styles, what you need to understand is that this is not an identity we are putting on you. Please don't identify yourself as I am an anxious attachment style, that's why I do this and this and this. No, it is something that can be worked on. And you see, like the way Derek is saying, he was an anxious, now feels like he's a dismissive, headed to secure. So you can be a very much work in progress. So it's not an identity, it's something that can be changed very much. It's something that you can work on and change. I, for one, know I am definitely a fearful avoidant. And still a very much work in progress. But the reason we are also saying this, so that you don't think we are coming to you as people who are complete and perfect. We are work in progress, and we are admitting it, so that even you can be challenged to understand why some of your behavior comes from. And I think even as we are posting this episode, we will link a test so that somebody can do. And we have given a disclaimer. This is not an identity that you put on, or not an identity that you give others. So you don't be moving around and seeing, hey, this one has fear of intimacy, this one is an avoidant. Don't nini people. Don't go and brand people because of now the information that you have. We always advocate against that. So I think now we should go ahead and give some of the characteristics.
Tuanze na secure. The statement secure inakaa polisi.
Inakaa polisi. Secure looks like heaven, man. I don't know. I've only seen one person who has said they are securely attached. Most of the people I know, they're anxious. Others anxious, largely anxious, and avoidant. Avoidant is not so much, but the anxious has a lot of people. So secure looks like somebody who some of the traits are you can communicate your feelings directly. You don't have a fear of communicating.
Unaambia tu mtu by the unanibo.
And this of course comes from a point of view you were created for a safe space when you were a child to be vulnerable to communicate your feelings and things like that. You feel emotionally close to your partner. And you are flexible and cooperative with your partner. You aren't jealous of your partner.
Not jealous.
You feel your partner will be there when you need them. This is not an anxious one. You know how to be attached and independent. You know how to balance both.
The term independence.
I feel like the problem in all this, the problem with somebody who's anxious, they don't know how to be independent. And the problem with somebody who is avoidant, they don't know how to be attached. So being able to balance both, be independent and still be attached, I can't wait. then you can remain calm and fair during conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remain sober. I'm told these people, they hardly panic in relationships. They're always, calm and collected from what you're saying. They know things will flow.
True.
They can depend on others, but they don't necessarily put all expectations in
on
others.
This person. And I listened to there's a YouTube channel of girls who were talking about, they took the test.
Yeah.
And they were saying that one was anxious and one was secure. And they were saying, the anxious one was saying, me, if I have a tiff or a conflict with my partner, I can't stand the us not talking at ECG for how long. Yeah. I'm losing my mind. But the secure one is like, me, I'm okay by it because I know I'm probably giving the relationship, we're probably giving the space that we need so that we can come back and solve these things maturely. Yeah. But the anxious one is just awkward thinking, this guy is leaving me anyway. So
yeah,
have I left? Is there something that I've not mentioned?
I think most of the things you have mentioned, they are highly confident. Their self-esteem is
high. They have a very high self-esteem.
Yeah, good self-esteem. I mean,
and also a high sense of self-worth.
Yes,
Other thing you will notice about these other attachment styles is their self-worth and self-esteem is not as high as that of someone who's secure.
Yeah. And they enjoy their independence.
Yeah.
Really enjoy their independence. They don't necessarily don't want other people, but they enjoy their independence, and they're willing to allow others to come into their space, which is something good. I mean, it's not easy by there to be confident about what you want to say and how you say it to people. You can imagine the way you tell your partner, by there, I don't like this, I don't like that, or calling your boss and letting them know, by there, at this particular point you cannot engage me at this level. There are boundaries you need to keep. So I understand why the secure people are.
Yeah, we move on to anxious, but the goal is for all of us to move towards security.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that all of us are in a place.
Will we ever move all of us to security? I doubt.
Not all of us, but of course it's work. Even the few of us who want to move to security, I don't think you can get fully secure.
Yeah.
You just reduce the anxiety and the avoidance.
Yeah.
But you don't. I don't think you get up to fully secure because we are human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we move to anxious?
Yeah, we go to anxious, or sometimes they're called anxious preoccupied.
Yeah, anxious or anxious preoccupied. Yeah, you are dependent on your partner.
This is now you.
No, me, I'm an FA. I'm a disorganized.
Disorganized.
Why are you branding me, Derek? We've said you're not branding.
I'm not branding.
Actually, this is now you. No, I refuse.
Murife, don't run.
I'm about to run.
Don't run.
So anxious is actually you, Derek, where you were a few years ago.
Yeah.
And we are happy that now you're doing better. You are dependent on your partner for
super dependent, highly dependent.
Dependent.
I mean, yes.
On your partner for self-worth.
Yeah, for self-worth. And then my dependency was now giving everything I have so that they can show love. That is how anxious preoccupied do. They give you so that you can, show them love. And I think that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are emotionally sensitive?
I think I used to be emotionally sensitive. I mean, I was very emotionally sensitive.
You can be demanding, critical, and overly needy with your partner.
Yeah, needy. Yeah, neediness. The fact that you want to know where they are, what they're doing, why they're not doing it with you. Are they almost leaving you?
Yeah.
I mean, neediness. You just want to control the world. You want to be there, You want to be part of the conversation.
You fear losing the relationship. I feel like this is the biggest fear of an anxious, being abandoned.
Yes, fear of abandonment.
Fear of abandonment is really like top of the table for the issues of someone who's anxious.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gives them the anxiety, because they assume because they're dependent on you for the self-worth. I feel like it's a lot. So if you don't validate them enough, and there's no amount of validation that can be enough from somebody else if you don't give it to yourself. So if you don't validate them enough, they feel like you don't love them.
Yeah.
And they feel like you might leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and the moment you fear losing people, then you have lost yourself. People don't understand. Because when you fear losing people, now you work with their timelines. You say things that will not hurt them.
Yeah, you please them.
Yeah, you please them. You behave in a way that you'll dress this way. If they don't want you to have certain friends, you stop moving around with those friends. You even stop posting things and content that you really love to post them on social media, even if they are memes. Yeah. So yeah, you now sell your freedom to another person.
Yeah, another thing, you feel as if you are the one fighting for emotional closeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you are anxious during separation from your partner.
Yeah.
It can be maybe they're traveling, or maybe you have an argument and your relationship is not as good. So you're anxious about those situations because you think now it might result to them leaving you
walking
altogether.
Away. Yeah.
You fight hard to get attention and approval from your partner.
Yeah.
You beg for it the way you, yeah.
True. All those are true. I think the other thing I found out from the anxious preoccupied is they are hardly single.
Oh.
They're hardly single.
They can't be single.
They can't be single. I mean.
Oh my gosh, I'm so triggered. Because now the other opposite is the avoidant, who is always single.
Yeah. So an anxious preoccupied, they can't be. The fact that, I mean, somebody dumped your relationship, came to an end because they cannot be on their own. We're talking about these people cannot survive on their own.
Yeah.
They find their identity in others, and so immediately the relationship ends. In order to cover that void and be able to find something in them, they jump to another relationship.
Sometimes, because they can't find it within them, somebody else has to validate their existence.
Exactly.
Even if there has to be someone.
Yeah, they don't think much about what will happen. The way a securely person will be like, I need to think about 1, 2, 3 things.
Yeah.
My security, does it affect my independence and all this? But this person is not. He's thinking about how am I going to be validated immediately after this?
Yeah. I can imagine how difficult it is.
It's difficult, honestly.
For anyone to date an anxious person, and for an anxious person to be in a relationship. But imagine how it can be for an anxious person to be in a relationship with an avoidant person.
I think you forgot to say, or rather I didn't get it. Anxious, preoccupied have a negative image of themselves.
Yes,
but
they do.
They see others as...
They idolize other people.
Yes, they idolize other people. They'll be like, this person is achieving great things, and all those things. Even at workplace, even when you give them tasks to do, they'll always feel like they're not adequate enough, They're always like, why do you choose me, I'm going to fail,
Yeah, and it's because when they were not given attention to, probably as the kids, that translated to them not being worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why maybe for a long time in their life they felt like they're not worth it, and that's why they see everyone else as worth it apart from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we go to, we've done anxious, let's do avoidant, dismissive avoidant.
Yeah, dismissive avoidant.
Dismissive avoidant is extremely self-reliant, and they have trouble feeling and expressing emotions.
They have trouble feeling and expressing
emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would rather suppress. Not that they feel like they suppress. They would not want to feel. They would not want to express anything, even though they feel it. And then
I agree. I think I'm at that point where I really don't want to express my feelings. Mm-hmm. I just don't want. I just want to continue suppressing it.
Okay.
It's something I feel. I don't know.
You leave or avoid conflict to not make things worse. So you avoid everything. You avoid emotions. You avoid conflicts.
Yeah, I do. I give my best to avoid.
You feel your partner is always wanting more. So imagine if this person is dating an anxious.
No, we can't. You can't work.
They can't work, Derek.
No, we can't.
They can't. You always feel like your partner is always wanting more. You have a hard time getting close. Again.
Yeah.
The anxious one wants closeness with their partner. And they're clingy. That's what they, quote unquote, they're called clingy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are defensive. They get defensive when they're in conflict with their partner. And then they fight to not be seen as a failure. Mm-hmm. They might place a higher value on success and image than emotional connection.
Yeah, it happens.
Where?
It happens.
Yeah, imagine this person can't date an anxious person.
No.
It's chaos.
That is violence.
Chaos.
Violence 101.
Heartache.
Murife.
Murife, run. Murife, they're lying to you, run.
Murife, run.
Yeah, so that's how unavoidant looks like.
Yeah.
Then
have you highlighted something like they are highly independent?
Yeah, I started with that.
Okay.
They're self-reliant. They're extremely self-reliant, and they're confident, and them emotions are secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotional connections don't mean as much to them
Yeah.
as their success. And they will see, in society, you will see them as people who are pretty successful, but very isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they just focus on their success. They don't focus on forming connections, and they don't have.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes it works. There have been moments when I was starting to develop close emotional connection with people around me. I was like, no, it can't be me. I mean, why am I doing this? I need to sober up. I need to bring my mind to order. So yeah, that feeling sometimes. You see people who are deeply connected emotionally, like, why are these people living like this? Which kind of life is this, So, I don't know, maybe mine has stemmed from, one, being anxious and my past experiences. And, as even
past experiences and relationship. And please note that we said it's just not childhood.
Yeah.
You can grow up as a secure person, but the relationships that you get into, the people you're with really...
Yeah, friendship. Workspaces.
Friendship, especially friendships and romantic partners.
Yeah.
They really inform how your attachment style evolves.
Yeah.
To the better or to the worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
The chaos in itself. This is the fearful avoidant, also known as the disorganized. Hapa. First of all, we might want to note that these are the kind of people who may have been abused as children, or grew up in an environment that there was violence.
Yeah.
And the reason why I told these people are confused is, imagine you both seek closeness and avoid closeness at the same time. It's a pull and push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seek and avoid.
Yeah, you seek and avoid. You may be self-harming or abusive. You might feel anxious, but are sometimes avoidant. So you're both anxious and you're avoidant at the same time. You have an intense fear of rejection. You feel disorganized inside. Your feelings are all over the place. You are more distressed and anxious and avoidant. You are more distressed than anxious and avoidant partners.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, is there anything I've not said?
I think you've talked about most of them.
Yeah. We have described some of the characteristics that we know about these attachment styles, and we have talked about the fearful avoidant, who is also known as the disorganized. There is the anxious preoccupied, there's the secure, and there's the dismissive. And all these people, these things are not, I think what I wanted to say, to emphasize, is these things are not cut on stone, because they also blend with your personality, your environment, your current support system, because even by just being supported as a person, your attachment style can change. Like how you can see things differently as a person. So the other thing I forgot to mention is, do you actually know that these attachment styles, even the toxic ones, quote unquote, they have like good qualities, which is shocking. Like, for example, an anxious attachment, these kind of people are very appreciative and romantic. They're empathetic to their partners, and they're deeply caring. They're also genuinely curious about others. They're social and friendly. They enjoy making others feel valued.
Wow.
So they also, these things, imagine, they also have like the beautiful side to it, but they largely affect you negatively.
Yeah.
That's why we are advocating for you to try and be better, especially if you're an anxious or an avoidant, any type of avoidant, so that even you're not having a hard time with people. As somebody who has information about attachment styles, I can understand where my issues are in relationships or friendships, and it's helping me to understand how to be better, and also to move out of my comfort zone, and to understand this is your attachment style trying to play out, and you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's that. We definitely are going to come back with another episode on attachment styles, because there's so many things we could discuss, how different attachment styles deal with conflict, intimacy, and things like that. So there's a lot that we can discuss about attachment, but we just wanted to lay a little foundation about this thing so that we create more awareness, and then we can do more episodes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's it for me, Derek, unless you want to add something.
Thank you so much for listening. We are all work in progress.
Yeah. I think that's the message. All
Yeah.
of us are work in progress. Don't brand yourself. Don't brand others. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. We are happy to be back, and we hope that this will be of help.
Absolutely.
To you and your friends. Please share this episode if it's helpful to you, and give us any feedback that you might have.
In case you've not done the attachment style test, this is the time we are sharing the link.
There will be a link for you to share.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, evening,
Goodbye.
night, morning.